Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we review Model Hunger. Size Zero's a bitch.
Model Hunger is the directorial debut of Debbie Rochon. This movie stars Lynn Lowry and Tiffany Shepis. This movie is about Ginny, who is a retired pinup artist who has been scorned by the modeling agency. She's been rejected because she doesn't have the ideal body type. And now she goes around and takes her revenge in her twisted mind on pretty much anyone she comes across. So what did we like?
I'm going to kick it off with the cinematography and lighting. Debbie nailed it with her directorial debut of choosing how the shots were framed and how they were lit. Especially with Lynn Lowry's character. You can feel how crazy she is just in that basement scene with the hitchhiker, because it's the low angle shot and well lit underneath that you see the psychotic, crazy look in her eyes when she's giving her monologues. And it just gives you goosebumps when you watch it.
Another example of the great cinematography is when we get the good, the bad, the ugly showdown style between the three neighbors.
I thought the acting from the majority of the cast was pretty solid. Lynn Lowry definitely played her character to a T because she was fucking psycho. She was using some really, really strong terminology for everything, and I felt she was completely nuts. I also really like Tiffany Shepis. She does a stellar job in everything she does, pretty much, and this was no exception. I don't think that Sal could have pulled her, but, I think she's more into guys with, Venom shirts and Deadpool hats,
And of course, we get another awesome score from Harry Manfredini, who's known for the Friday the 13th series. It really built tension, and it really completed the whole atmosphere of the movie.
I really felt the pacing of this film was well executed. Nothing dragged on, and each character in how they were tortured or tormented was on just the right amount of time that it didn't drag out or wasn't too short that we wanted more.
I like that we had Kaylee Williams make an appearance in this movie because I didn't see her credited. She came in, she did a great job, she looked smoking hot, and I liked it, as usual.
So what didn't we like?
I want to start this off with a counter to the cinematography. Well, the framing and the lighting were great. I thought that the actual camera work itself wasn't that great. We had a lot of out-of-focus shots, we had a lot of blown-out shots, and we also didn't have any stabilization for almost the whole movie. Right off the bat, you're gonna know what kind of movie you're getting into because everything is super shaky.
You want your opening scene to just draw the audience in. And if we're too focused on how poor the cinematography is, we're missing the whole story.
Although I really enjoyed the story, I thought the story arc was a little flat. I didn't really see a rising action, and I kind of thought that at the very end there was a climax kind of thrown in. We get a lot of kills, but there wasn't really any inciting incidents that would get us worried about the killer getting caught or something like that.
That plays out something that bugged me, which is the character development and the character's motivation. I felt a few characters in this film, their motivation wasn't explained well enough, and they just seemed to do things on a whim. Tiffany Shepis' character, we got a little into her backstory, but at the same time, there wasn't that motivation as to why is she so concerned about her neighbor.
Again, to counter one of John's points earlier, I thought the pacing was a little drawn out. It seemed like they just had all these different scenes, and it became kind of like a cycle. Now, we said this in Killer Rack, which it seems like a lot of these people were involved in. Somebody approaches Lynn Lowry drugs them, she tortures somebody, and then something happens with Tiffany Shepis, and she gets suspicious. And then it repeats the cycle 4 times and the movie's over. We did have some pretty cool practical effects in 1 or 2 scenes, but there are a couple that were close to being on screen, but due to poor lighting or the situation and the camera angles, you couldn't quite see it. The torture scenes were just not as powerful as they should have been.
Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I'm really excited to see Debbie Rochon directing. We've seen her in so many films, and now I'm excited to see what else she makes. I think Model Hunger was a great start. You could tell she got a feel for it, and she tried a lot of different things. I feel like the story kind of fell flat, but I really enjoyed the characters. The acting was spectacular. I really enjoyed the practical effects. And I actually really enjoyed the Suzi secrets. I felt like it really tied all the characters together, seeing them all watching it in their own house. I thought it was really cool. So with that said, I'm gonna have to give this movie 3 tasty treats out of 5.
Like Colin said, I thought it was really cool to see Debbie Rochon, not in front of the camera, but behind it. She actually did a pretty stellar job framing everything and getting everything where it needed to be and getting the performances out of the characters, which were brilliant on their own to begin with. Unfortunately, when it came to the story, I thought it was a little dry and it seemed really repetitive, and I think if we had a little bit more character development and maybe a little bit more of the practical effects when it came to maybe the torture scenes, or at least enough character development in the torture scenes to care, then I would have liked this movie a lot more than I did. So I'm gonna give this 2.5 Colin's tasty balls out of 5.
But you have such tasty balls, Colin.
For a directorial debut, I felt Debbie Rochon did an excellent job. I really enjoyed the cinematography in this film, and I really enjoyed the lighting and the choice of colors that she used to represent the film. I thought the acting was great. Lynn Lowry played a great killer. She was psychotic and she was believable. Some of the other characters and their motives, not so believable, and that took me out of the film, and I was kind of disappointed in that. But it was still a good film, and I enjoyed watching it. I thought, Debbie, you did a great job, and everyone else did a great job acting. So that being said, I'm gonna give this 2.5 old creepy men lubing up out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your favorite Lynn Lowry performance. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel to stay updated with our reactions, reviews, and games of What Would You Do?